Imagine a winter so bitter that your breath freezes mid-air, floors are coated in frost, and a single ember is worth more than gold. Now imagine surviving that chill without a furnace, radiator, or even a proper chimney. Here's the paradox. Medieval people did exactly that, and they did it brilliantly. They weren't victims of the cold, they were masters of it, using ingenuity, observation, and the relentless logic of survival to outwit winter. The mystery is that most of us assume warmth required fire alone. But in reality, medieval Europeans developed at least 10 clever strategies to stay warm, hidden in everyday life, architecture, clothing, and diet. Some were obvious, others subtle, some even bordering on genius by modern standards. From how houses were built to how meals were timed, from communal sleeping to the placement of livestock, every element served a purpose. Tonight we explore these methods, revealing a world where comfort was scarce, but human ingenuity abundant, where survival depended on learning to manage heat rather than simply generate it, and where each flicker of warmth tells a story of quiet mastery over a season that could kill in hours. Understanding these methods requires seeing the world as medieval people did. Homes were designed to trap every ounce of heat. Walls of wattle and daub or stone were thick, often insulated with mud, straw, or even animal hides. Windows were small or covered with oiled cloth to block drafts while letting in light. Roofs were low, ceilings close, keeping body heat and smoke from cooking trapped near living spaces. Floors were layered with rushes and straw, creating insulation underfoot and absorbing moisture. Families shared beds and even living areas with animals, using combined body heat to survive the coldest nights. Clothing was layered strategically. Linen next to skin, wool outside, furs for added protection, and heavy cloaks for outside chores. Meals were planned to provide sustained warmth, favouring fats, proteins, and slow-cooked stews. Even daily routines were choreographed. Work during daylight to stay active and warm, rest during the coldest hours, fire banking, and strategic use of embers to preserve heat. Survival was a carefully orchestrated combination of design, biology, and observation, perfected over generations and lost almost entirely with the advent of modern heating. Here's the clever part. Medieval warmth relied less on firepower and more on understanding and managing heat. Hearths were small and used strategically, with embers banked overnight in ash to preserve heat. Smoke was sometimes allowed to linger near beams, slightly warming the house before escaping. Furniture placement created microclimates. Benches and beds near walls or corners captured residual heat. Animals were deliberately brought indoors, not for companionship, but as living heaters, their body warmth radiating through the home. Clothing functioned as insulation layers, trapping warm air close to the skin, and shared sleeping arrangements maximized retained body heat. Even meal timing mattered. Hot foods and calorie-dense dishes created internal heat, sustaining energy throughout long, freezing nights. Floors, walls and ceilings acted as thermal reservoirs, absorbing heat during the day and releasing it slowly at night. This was applied thermodynamics without instruments or formulas, a science learned through observation and experience. The knowledge vanished once central heating, glass windows and stoves made survival intuitive rather than skilled. What seems primitive at first glance was actually an advanced system of environmental engineering, personal energy management, and clever adaptation to extreme conditions. Modern life, surprisingly, can learn from this forgotten expertise. Passive heating strategies like thick walls, insulated floors, and strategic placement of beds or furniture mirror medieval techniques and inform energy-efficient design today. Layering clothing and using shared body heat remains relevant in survival scenarios or remote living. Meal planning for sustained warmth, understanding airflow and controlling drafts are principles directly applicable to emergency shelters, eco-villages or off-grid lifestyles. Even task timing, working during warm daylight hours, conserving energy at night, reflects centuries of survival logic. Medieval methods demonstrate that comfort and safety are not purely about technology, but about awareness, preparation, and clever use of available resources. When power fails, modern heating stops, and these ancient practices regain importance. By revisiting the wisdom of the past, we see that survival, efficiency, and resilience are timeless principles, proving that sometimes the old ways outperform the new. Their methods were designed to maximize warmth while minimizing effort, a lesson for anyone facing scarcity or extreme conditions. The lasting takeaway is that warmth is not merely about fire, but knowledge. Medieval people survived, thrived, and endured through observation, planning, and resourcefulness, turning scarcity into opportunity. Every wall, every layer of clothing, every shared meal or sleeping arrangement was part of a sophisticated system designed for survival. By studying these methods, we recover a mindset of resilience, adaptability, and efficiency that modern life often erases. In a world of rising energy costs, extreme winters, or survival situations, these forgotten techniques are not just historical curiosities, they are practical lessons. If this journey through smoke, straw and body heat changed the way you think about warmth, carry it forward. Apply it, share it, and remember that ingenuity often arises where necessity is greatest. Survival is not about having endless energy. It is about knowing how to hold on to it, and medieval Europe perfected that art long before modern heating ever existed.